Let's face it, buying a TV in 2025 isn't just about watching Netflix anymore, it's a mission. A high-stakes, research-heavy, spec-riddled journey into the wild world of modern home entertainment. One wrong move and you're stuck staring at a washed-out screen, wondering how the crisp, cinematic masterpiece you saw in the store turned into a laggy mess in your living room. And honestly, the stakes have never been higher. TVs today are more than screens, they're hubs for gaming, streaming, sports, and sometimes even a substitute for the movie theater.
If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment. Your feedback helps shape what we cover next, and you being here keeps the conversation going. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.
Heavy hitters, the ones that actually deliver on their promises, and calling out 3 models you absolutely need to avoid unless you want to light your money on fire and watch it flicker in fake HDR. Let's start with the good news, the best of the best. 1. Samsung NeoCold QN9OD, the brightness beast. If you want a TV that punches through glare like a superhero through drywall, this is your pick. Samsung's QN9OD is not just bright, it's blindingly brilliant in the best way possible. With minimal backlighting and thousands of local dimming zones, this set delivers peak brightness that makes HDR content explode with detail and color. But it's not just about sizzle, it's got steak too. The QN9OD handles motion like a dream. Bye-bye soap opera effect, reflects light so well that even daytime viewing is a pleasure, and supports all the next-gen gaming features like HDMI 2.1, VRR, and ultra-low input lag. Samsung's software game is also on point: smooth interface, regular firmware updates, and a track record of long-term support. This isn't just a TV, it's a centerpiece. 2. LG 4, C for series, the king of black. You haven't really watched a movie until you've watched it on an old, and no one does old better than LG. The G4 and C4 models in 2025 are the purest distillation of cinematic perfection. True blacks, infinite contrast, flawless color accuracy, and pixel-level light control that makes shadows dance and highlights gleam. Yes, OLEDs are more expensive. And yes, there's always a little whisper of burn-in paranoia. But LG has continued to refine their panel longevity, brightness control, and software to make those concerns almost negligible. The G4 in particular is brighter than ever, blasting past previous old limits to make HDR scenes finally compete with daylight. For cinephiles, gamers, or anyone who values image quality that feels alive, LG's OLEDs remain the standard. 3. Sony Bravia 9 series, motion mastery and upscaling wizardry. Sony doesn't always shout the loudest in the TV conversation, but when it comes to picture processing, they are the quiet genius in the room. The 2025 Bravia 9 series is a motion handling masterpiece. If you watch sports, action films, or anything fast-paced, this is the TV that keeps up without turning your screen into a blurry mess. Sony's combo of black frame insertion and motion interpolation is next-level smooth. But what really sets Sony apart is their upscaling engine. Older content, 1080p streams, even sub-HD material, it all looks shockingly close to native 4K. It's like giving your entire streaming library a makeover without lifting a finger. It's not cheap, but if you want every scene to feel meticulously polished, Sony is your premium pick. 4. TCL QM851G, the best surprise of 2025. TCL is no longer the scrappy underdog. With the QM851G, they've arrived at the grown-up table and they brought snacks for everyone. This TV offers flagship-level brightness, excellent local dimming, wide color coverage, and full gaming support. HDMI 2.1, VRR, 144Hz panel. And it does it at a price that'll make your wallet exhale in relief. The biggest win here. TCL is now competing with Samsung and LG on core performance without charging a fortune for the privilege. If you want the full next-gen experience, gaming, movies, sports, you name it, without blowing your budget, this is your move. 5. Hisense U8N, value performance champ. Hisense continues to be the most fun-to-say brand in the TV world, and in 2025, they're bringing the heat with the U8N. Think of it as a rival to TCL's QM series, but with a slightly different flavor. The U8N boasts crazy good brightness, high contrast, and rich, vibrant colors. It's not perfect motion processing, isn't Sony tier, but it checks almost every other box. Gaming features, HDR impact, fast OS, and a surprising amount of finesse in its design. For the price, it's an absolute knockout. Hisense is no longer just a budget brand. It's a real player and this TV proves it. 6. Roku Pro Series, the It Just Works champion. Let's not forget the viewer who just wants something simple, fast, and frustration-free. Roku's Pro Series might not top the charts in raw specs, but it delivers one of the cleanest, most intuitive TV experiences out there. The SDR picture is great, the UI is lightning fast, and app integration is smoother than ever. It's the perfect pick for people who want solid brightness, accurate colors, and a TV they don't have to tinker with. Add an extended warranty and great customer support, and it becomes the best smart TV for everyday users. But now, the warning signs. Let's talk about the 3 TVs to avoid in 2025. Because no, not all cheap TVs are just as good. Some are straight up traps. 1. Element, the definition of too good to be true. Every year, Element floods stores with rock-bottom price TVs promising 4K HDR and 120 motion rate. And every year, the truth is the same, they're lying to you. Element TVs often use rebranded, low-grade panels with weak brightness, fake HDR meaning no meaningful contrast control, and motion so choppy you'll think your Wi-Fi's broken. They also have next to zero firmware support, which means bugs stay forever and apps stop working sooner than you'd expect. Save yourself the rage, just walk past them. 2. RCA is still bad after all these years. It's 2025, and somehow RCA is still in the game. But make no mistake, this is not the RCA your grandparents respected. This is a shell brand slapped onto the cheapest available parts, and it shows. Expect laggy menus, broken HDMI ports, paper-thin plastic chassis, and image quality that looks like a washed-out memory of real TV. And support, forget about it. RCA's customer service is basically an empty voicemail inbox. You deserve better. Much better. 3. Vizio, the disappointment we keep hoping will improve. This one hurts. Vizio used to be a promising alternative offering great picture for a lower price. But lately, it's been a downhill slide of firmware bugs, spotty updates, and broken promises. Their 2025 models suffer from inconsistent panel quality, software that randomly crashes, and gaming features that sound great on the box but fail in practice. Worst of all, support has not kept pace with the competition. Until Vizio gets serious about quality control and updates, it's too risky. Look elsewhere. So, what should you really take away? Here's the simple truth. Don't trust buzzwords. HDR and 120 Hz are meaningless without real specs behind them. Look at the panel type, brightness in nits, and local dimming zones. These matter more than the name. Gaming features like HDMI 2.1, VRR, and low input lag are a must even if you're not a hardcore gamer. Buy from brands that offer reliable firmware updates and customer service. A TV is a long-term investment. If the software falls apart in 6 months, it doesn't matter how pretty the picture looked in the store. Avoid store-exclusive or rebranded models. That Samsung Q9 OGA in your local chain. It's probably a downgraded version of the real thing. Always check model numbers before you click buy. Final word, don't let flashy displays and steep discounts fool you. The best TV is the one that holds up long after you've unboxed it. One that looks amazing on day 1 and still works like a dream on day 1000. Stick to the trusted 6, dodge the big 3, and remember, a good TV doesn't just show you a picture, it brings your entire room to life. And in 2025, that kind of experience is more possible than ever. Alright, let's keep going, because if you're this deep into the rabbit hole of TV buying in 2025, you're clearly not just looking for a screen. You're looking for the experience. The goosebumps during a slow-motion touchdown. The pixel-perfect shadows in a late-night thriller. The total immersion of a 4K gaming world where every frame is fluid and flawless. You want your living room to feel like a private cinema, your gaming sessions to feel like real-time magic, and your everyday streaming to be effortless. And here's the thing, that experience is completely possible, but only if you dodge the traps and make smart, informed choices, not impulse buys off that too good to be true stack in the middle of the big box store. So, now that we've covered the top 6 TVs you can count on and the 3 budget disasters you should absolutely run from, let's talk about the deeper details. The real deciding factors that separate a good TV from a regret that haunts your next 5 years. Because let's be honest, no one wants to feel beer's remorse every time they try to watch The Last of Us or load up a match in Call of Duty and get greeted by motion blur and ghosting like it's 2009. Here's what people forget, the specs matter. but the context matters more. The panel type isn't just marketing, it's the core of picture quality. First, let's break down the holy trinity of 2025 display tech. OLED organic light emitting diode. QLED quantum dot LED. MINLED, a more precise, brighter form of LED backlighting. Here's the dramatic truth. If you're buying blindly and ignoring panel type, you're basically rolling the dice on your entire experience. OLED discs, like those in the LG G4 and Sony's top-tier models, are all about precision. Because each pixel emits its own light, you get perfect blacks, infinite contrast, and no blooming. Dark scenes look rich and deep, not like someone smeared fog over your screen. But OLEDs aren't just for cinephiles anymore. LG's G4 and C4 models have finally cracked the brightness ceiling, pushing past 1000 nits of peak HDR brightness, meaning you can now use OLEDs even in rooms with a lot of ambient light. Oh, and the response time. Basically instant. Gamers, take note. QLED discs and MINLEDs, on the other hand, are the kings of brightness and punch. If you're in a sun-drenched room or love eye-searing HDR explosions, a Samsung NeoCold like the QN9OD or a TCL QM851G will rock your world. They use full array local dimming and hundreds, sometimes thousands of backlight zones to replicate contrast, and they do it well. Bottom line, OLED discs win for contrast and color depth, MINLEDs win for brightness and daytime performance, and QLEDs strike a middle ground. Local dimming zones, the more, the merrier, but only if they're smart. Let's talk local dimming. This is where many budget brands fail hard. They'll advertise local dimming but only give you 12 zones spread across a 75-inch screen. That's like turning off one ceiling light in a football stadium and calling it mood lighting. A high-end TV like the QN9OD can have over 2000 dimming zones, which gives a jaw-dropping control over lighting. Bright objects stay crisp. Dark areas stay actually dark. No haloing. No banding. No drama. If your TV doesn't have solid local dimming, especially for HDR, you're not really watching HDR, you're watching a cheap impersonation. So when you see a TV listed with full array local dimming, make sure you dig a little deeper. How many zones? How well are they implemented? Budget models often fake the feature. Top-tier models, they deliver. Firmware support, the most underrated deal breaker. It's easy to get seduced by the specs on a box. What's harder to spot is what happens 6 months after you bring that TV home. Does the brand support firmware updates? Do they fix bugs and improve features over time? Or does your TV become a forgotten orphan, stuck with a laggy OS and broken HDMI features? This is why people love Samsung, LG, and Sony. They support their products. Bugs get patched, features get refined, apps stay compatible, and when the next big streaming codec drops, or a gaming update is needed, they're ready. Compare that to RCA or Element, where support is basically an ancient myth told on Reddit threads. If your TV's software is broken, you can't use your apps. If it lags, you won't enjoy your content. If the firmware crashes, good luck even switching inputs. So don't just shop by panel and brightness. Look at support history. Look at update logs. Make sure you're buying something that stays alive. Gaming is not a bonus anymore, it's a baseline expectation. Even if you're not a daily gamer, gaming support now doubles as a sign of overall tech readiness. If your TV can handle 4000 at 120 Hz, has HDMI 2.1, supports VR variable refresh rate, ALLM auto low latency mode, and has low input lag, that tells you everything else is dialed in too. LG OLEDs, Samsung NeoColds, and even TCL Hisense's best models now offer full-fat gaming features, including support for NVIDIA G-Sync and AMD FreeSync. It's not just about frame rates, it's about future-proofing. Because let's be real, games are only getting more demanding. Streaming boxes are evolving. And if your TV doesn't evolve with them, you're stuck. Price versus performance. Budget no longer means basic. Let's kill the myth that budget TVs are all bad. The 2025 TCL QM851G and Hisense U8N are here to prove you can get insanely good performance without selling a kidney. These sets are now delivering brightness levels above 1500 nits, full HDMI 2.1 support, local dimming with hundreds of zones, and excellent color accuracy for under $1,500. That would have been unthinkable 5 years ago. But now, it's a whole new ball game. The trick is knowing which budget brands to trust. TCL and Hisense have built reputations around value, yes, but they're backing it up with consistent improvements, real firmware support, and shockingly good build quality. Meanwhile, RCA, Element, and the like continue pushing low-end garbage disguised as smart TVs. Moral of the story: not all cheap is bad, but some of it is very, very bad. The store trap: why you should never trust the display wall. Before you fall in love with a screen at your local electronics store, remember this: those TVs are set up to deceive you. They're running on vivid mode, max brightness, showroom profiles that crush blacks, oversaturate colors, and blind you into thinking the cheapest set looks just as good as the flagship next to it. They're also often displaying looped 4K video optimized for that panel's quirks, not real content. Want a real test? Ask the associate to load a YouTube clip in normal lighting. Better yet, look up calibration reviews online and see how the default settings perform in home conditions. Because buying a TV based on how it looks in the store is like marrying someone because they looked cute in one Instagram filter. You need to know what they're like at home. Final thoughts: choose with intention, watch without regret. At the end of the day, buying a TV isn't just about specs. It's about how it feels to live with it, how it handles your late-night movie marathons, how it reacts when your game hits 120 FPS, how it survives your toddler throwing a remote at it, how it looks 5 years later when firmware updates still roll out and your apps still launch smoothly. The difference between a good TV and a great one: it's in those details. So buy smart. Research the model, not just the brand. Compare real-world specs, not just buzzwords. Avoid the lure of false savings from cheap panels that break before the warranty ends. Because your TV isn't just a screen, it's a window into the stories you love, the games you live in, the memories you make with friends and family. And in 2025, that window deserves to be as clear, vibrant, and reliable as possible. Buy well, watch better, and never settle for less than breathtaking. And if you've made it this far, chances are you get it. You're not just looking for a deal. You're not just chasing the flashiest promo or whatever store is dangling the biggest screen at the smallest price. No, you want the real thing. You want a TV that actually earns its place on your wall. That's not just a background object, but a full-blown centerpiece for your life. Because let's be honest, we spend a lot of time in front of these things. They're where we unwind, where we watch our comfort shows, where we lose ourselves in fantasy worlds or rage at missed goals in real time. So why on earth would we settle for a subpar screen that lags, buzzes, or just plain underdelivers? What you're really buying with a good TV isn't just pixels, it's peace of mind. It's knowing that when you sit down after a long day, the thing works. The picture is sharp, the blacks are deep, the motion is smooth, and the sound doesn't make you reach for subtitles even though it's in your native language. You don't need a tech degree to tweak the settings. You don't have to pray that Netflix will load. You're just watching effortlessly. That's what separates the smart buy from the regret pile. So here's your final takeaway. Don't let a sea of acronyms confuse you. Don't let store displays or Black Friday chaos or a 12-foot cardboard cutout of a cartoon tiger with the lowest price ever sign talk you into something that won't last through a software update. Stick with the 6 brands and models that have proven themselves. Avoid the 3 that have let too many people down. And trust that the extra research you're doing now, it's going to pay off for years of better viewing, better gaming, and better nights in. Because when your screen fades to black and those opening credits roll, you want your TV to disappear, so the story can begin. Thanks so much for watching. If you made it all the way to the end, you're officially part of the small percentage of people who don't just click away, and that means a lot. Before you go, I'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment below and tell me your thoughts, your ideas, or even what you'd like to see next. I read every single one of them, and your feedback genuinely shapes the direction of this channel. If you enjoyed the video, tap that like button. It tells YouTube this content is worth sharing. And if you haven't already, hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next upload. We've got more exciting videos coming, and trust me, you'll want to be here for them. This channel is just getting started, and your support helps it grow faster than you realize. Thank you again for spending a part of your day here with me. Stay curious, stay motivated, and as always, take care of yourself. Until next time, I'll see you in the next video.